Hello, everybody. Welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I'm the OutbackAl.
I'm hot for justice.
I'm Chibi
And I'm NV Jitters.
And we were watching things today. Well, I watched things today. You guys might have actually, done better time management and not, watched them all before you got on here. I don't know. How does everyone watch these? You just, cram before we do this? Because, I usually cram on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on when we're doing it.
It depends.
Yeah.
I crammed.
I mean, if it was anything like last week, I definitely crammed it into one session. But if it was like this week where work was a little lighter, I ended up watching them. Actually, I watched them yesterday, but I didn't feel rushed, so...
Well, that's good. I mean, I don't feel like we have to be rushed on this. I know Steins we can really just watch whenever. Mm-hmm. But, there is some time sensitivity to Kanata and Copcraft, but it's not super sensitive, so I don't know why I keep, waiting until the very last minute to watch these things.
Because it's your homework, and what's homework without procrastination?
Oh, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Because honestly, this is what I consider it. It's fun homework, but it's still homework.
Yeah, a little bit, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I've been out of school for how long, and I'm assigning people homework. I don't feel good about this anymore. I think this is the last anime yay or nay. I don't know. We at least got to finish out the season, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about the season, we watched. It was episode 6 of Copcraft, 7 for Kanata, and 7 and 8 for Steins.
Yep.
Am I correct? I didn't skip anything?
Nope, and I made sure to watch the correct episodes this week.
Oh, that is good. That is a good thing.
Proud of you.
We usually start with Copcraft first, so why don't we go there first?
Porn.
Okay.
All the porn.
Yeah, I was about to say, what's this one about? It's about driving, and it's about porn. Not necessarily in that order, or, separately or together or whatever. Just driving and porn.
I'm not sure how everyone felt about this episode, but I
Little fillery.
cried throughout the entire episode for how hard I was laughing. I haven't laughed that hard in a long time with an anime episode.
It was funny. At the same time, though, again, I feel like this was a filler episode.
It definitely
trying
was.
too hard, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, can we move on?
Okay, well, why don't we go into the synopsis a little bit, and so people at least know what's going on. If you haven't watched it, which the whole point was that people watch it with us. But, yeah, so we're gonna put the vampire and all the other main plot on the back burner this week, because they're just kind of hanging out. I think it started with Kay was trying to find Tilly a place to stay that was not his place.
Yes.
And he gets swiped. He gets his mirror swiped off by a passing truck that turns out to also be stolen and in a police chase. So he's like, well, this is gonna be my day, and he just goes full on Fast and the Furious and just, I mean, that's a lot of property damage what he did.
Yeah.
But yeah, he nearly makes Tilly throw up with his driving. And then it turns out the truck was full of porn mags, because apparently photography is not big in Otherworld. Apparently there's very few photos, and therefore porn is super valuable. Which, that's... Yeah, that'll be... I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that would be one of the first things to go, on the black market, would be porn. Or any photography, really, when you think about it. Mm. But, yeah, so that's the case that they're on. Tilly decides to move Kay's car, and I guess forgets to put it in park.
Yep.
And then it rolls backwards into an oncoming truck and explodes violently.
Yep.
Yep.
I think what got to me was just how bad he was freaking out. Because most of the time he's been pretty subdued in his emotions, but just because of his car, he's just losing his sanity.
Dude, it's the one thing he had.
Yeah.
It's the one thing. Like, I get why he's kind of freaking out a little bit in this episode, because it's like the one thing that he had, the couple things that he has. He has his house, he has his car, he has his own life. It's
and
not
he has
really.
his cat.
Yeah, he has his cat. It's not really like his life doesn't really get his outside life doesn't really get touched by his work life until now, and it's like you can't decompress when your work life is coming home with you. Now, there's a fortunate thing. Because I guess whenever Tilly was fixing him on the roof, whenever he got badly injured, she used the elixir. And she also healed his allergies, which apparently she did not tell him for a while, because she thought it was funny. So she's slowly gaining a sense of humor, so I'll give her that much. But she needs to learn how to drive, and this is just, it's good for everyone to know how to drive.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, I'm not just saying you. There's some other people we know about who may or may not listen to this. They don't, probably. That need to figure out their license, but I'm not just pointing fingers at one person. Anywho. What was I saying? Yeah, Tilly needs to learn how to drive, so she first off, before she learns how to drive, she has to figure out what porn is. Which, for someone who's 26, apparently was never given the birds and the bees talk, because she doesn't even think that her parents did that. Which, on the one hand, I'm kind of like going like, wow, that's naive. On the other hand, I'm going like, you know what? I don't actually know anything about your species. Do you guys not reproduce that way? I feel like that's almost a legitimate question.
Yeah, it is.
So, that's yet another thing to add to the lore dump that Chibi's looking for.
I want all of it.
Do you... How much?
I want most things explained.
Let me rephrase that. How detailed do you want this?
I mean, maybe not that detailed.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the case there on. They rope another guy named Tony into it, who's apparently a very good undercover officer, and he has his whole thing, where I guess he's a gay cop, and he has to play a straight guy who's into straight porn, which is, he doesn't like it at all.
Nope.
But apparently he becomes a much better actor whenever he's into something that's like, wow, the more you hate it, the better an actor you are. So like, okay, at least he's good at what he does. We can't fault him on that at all.
Nope.
Then disgruntled police chief, as I'm calling him, gets Kay a new car, and it's awesome. It's a great looking car, very fast, very just exactly what he wanted. So he's having a field day with that. Meanwhile, Tilly's like getting all, oh, my partner doesn't like me because I can't drive. So she goes and hangs out with Cecile to learn how to drive, and then she finds out what someone's ex means. Apparently, all the things in the porno mag that she watched that she was scarred for life by, she finds out that her two closest friends were also doing that kind of stuff. What the hell?
Yeah.
And then Cecile also tells her that Kay had a younger sister that died 10 years ago, and that she probably reminds him of her.
That, I liked that part because they were kind of, for me, they were leaning into this sort of conversation in the car where they're like, so do you like Kay? And I'm like, oh, please don't do this.
Yeah,
Please don't do this shit.
Don't do that.
I know
I don't
technically
want it.
she's legal, just please don't do this shit. And then they're like, oh, he probably thinks of you like his sister that he loved. I'm like, okay, that's a relationship I can get behind. Big brother, little sister, I'm fine with that. That's good. Partners, siblings, whatever. Just, oh, don't go there. Don't go lolly bait. It's, no.
My whole thing is like, I don't want them to turn it into like one of those things where it's like they're partners and then they end up being like in a relationship, and it's like, no,
Yes.
that's such a trope. Don't
Not only
do that with
well,
this
that's part of
one.
it. It's like a cliched trope, but at the same time, it's like creepy. I know she's 26, air quotes, but no. So that's yeah. Anyway, after that, they start a sting operation to get the guy. Tony's doing his deal to make the deal. It goes wrong though. We're not sure exactly what happened, but like apparently someone was betrayed and ends up being a hostage situation and another high-speed chase. But Kay, I guess, was blinded because like a gun went off like right near his eyes, which, you know, you should also get tinnitus if it's that close to your head anyway. But
I think it was like a flash grenade.
Oh, a flash grenade. I didn't see the flash grenade, but you might be right there. So, in any case, he's kind of blinded for a moment, so he can't drive. Tilly throws him in the car, gets behind the wheel, and she tears it up even more than he did. She's driving down the wrong lane in the highway, doing 100 miles an hour, chasing down this car. She jumps the curb. She flies through the air, bounces off another car, smashes this. It's like, imagine a scene from Fast and the Furious, like one of the earlier movies before they got completely insane, but like still we're kind of like nudging towards that insanity moment. And that's exactly what happened. They total both the cars.
Yep.
But yeah, and she's all like, I only did it because you think I'm useless. It's like, I don't think you're useless. I just wanted you to get a license. Don't drive like that. But yeah, they caught the perp, totaled the car. It also caught fire.
Yep.
Which is just, I think that just happens anytime she drives. The car catches fire.
Yeah.
So I guess they're still out of a car. And then she moves in downstairs, which is still technically part of his house.
Yep.
So pretty much still back at square one. Except now you really don't have a car.
Yep, and now basically she's permanently moved in because she's redecorated your downstairs bedroom.
Yup. I mean, yeah, we have to assume he wasn't really using it.
Nope.
But
Probably
still.
not.
Yeah, overall, bit of a filler episode. Just kind of one of those, like, develop the relationship between the two, the camaraderie, the sibling shenanigans type stuff. Some funny bits. It was okay as far as that goes. I'm hoping for more plot next episode, though. I feel like we're in the middle of the season, and that's where we're gonna get filler bits. I'm a little worried about that, but not super worried. Because even this episode, which was kind of a filler episode, was still entertaining enough that I'm not gonna say, oh, let's drop this crap. They've done all they wanted to do. What did you guys think?
It was okay. I didn't think it was bad, but I also wasn't like really into the episode. Like, I was just kind of like, okay, all right, I'm done. Next one. Next.
Yeah.
I'm interested, cause I'm not sure where exactly they're from. Cause part of me thought initially, oh, they're probably in Japan or something.
No.
But yeah, they're driving on the way the cars are set up and the way they're driving is, I guess it's technically not just American. Like,
No.
Japan and England are actually the weird ones who drive on the left, as opposed to like as everyone else drives on the right. Or
I
we
could
drive
be
on the
wrong, but I
left,
think
they
the
drive on
show's
the
set in the United States.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
right. Is it just a fictional country or something?
It's literally some kind of fictional, like, island country, like, out in the middle of the Pacific, I think.
Okay, but is there like possibly a real world equivalent we could be working with here? Are we talking like Hawaii,
no idea.
Polynesia, like Indonesia?
Not a clue.
Okay.
Like, it explains, like, kind of where it is in the first episode.
Yeah, but so vaguely that I didn't even catch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in any case, I guess we can at least say for sure they're not from Japan. I'm hearing some English names here and there. Like, one of them's name is Tony.
Yeah.
So maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know. If it's an island, part of me is kind of hoping that now they're like maybe in Honolulu or something, and this is like the alternate universe version of Hawaii 5-0. Which, means we gotta change the theme song, but still.
I still like the theme song.
Theme song is good. Yeah, I'm hoping, again, for more plot next time around. I don't know if there's another vampire running around. I think we killed all of those, but, I want to see more of Carmen Desposito and see what he's got cooking. Because he's got something cooking.
Yeah.
Part of me feels like we will get more cop shenanigans. But, hopefully not too much. I think that's the main thing I'm hoping for, is not too much filler. Because I don't feel like the show needs it. I mean, it's not, like, if this were a bigger, like, longer show, like, again, I don't know how long this is going to be, but if it was a longer shonen series, I could understand one or two, well, more than one or two, but, like, a couple of filler episodes here and there just to kind of pad things out a little bit as they get to major plot points. I'm just used to that at this point. I mean, to be fair, I'm, like, not used to watching, like, a lot of modern shonen, so I don't know if My Hero does filler episodes that often, but yeah, I mean, well, I guess we'll see what happens, but I'm still a yay on this one, I think.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they haven't done anything wrong yet. That, like, yeah, each episode in its own way is enjoyable, I mean, to varying degrees. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think that's all I got to say. You guys have any other thoughts on it?
Nope.
Nada.
NB?
I mean, I was laughing consistently throughout the episode, but maybe because it's just my sixth sense of humor, but I can understand.
I see. Envy likes to corrupt the innocent.
Well, no, but
now you all
they
know.
went,
And no
they went to calls at me. They know what shit I that.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll be watching the next episode of this, I think, and that'll be episode, 7?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So, episode 7 for next week. Let's move on to this episode 7 of Kanata no Astra, because we got more backstory going down.
It feels like every week when we're supposed to think, okay, this is the person that's going to betray everyone, and then find the backstory, and it's like, damn it,
okay.
Back to square one.
Okay, so this one didn't convince me, because, okay, anyway, let's, I'll get into that. But synopsis time. When we last left our heroes, Charse was, like, under the spotlight because, whoa, no one knows who he is, and he's been very guarded about the whole thing. So this one picks up, like, I like how they always like seem to pick up like almost directly where they left off.
It's helpful.
Yeah. So they're all still sitting at dinner waiting for him to explain himself because no one knew him, and he's like, oh, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I transferred like a day before we went on the trip, and like, oh, well, that's not suspicious at all.
Yeah.
But he goes into his backstory of, I'm actually royalty from the one country that still has royal people after the World War of 63 that reorganized everything into a one world government. Which, I guess that's a bit of world building that we get for this. But yeah, he's part of the royal family, and he's not allowed to have commoners in the royal circle of the city because they live in a medieval land for some reason. It's weird. Like, I could see it happening, but at the same time it's weird. But he's like, hey, there's this girl who just so happens to look like this girl that I like on this trip, who I brought into the circle when she was not supposed to be in the circle. Then a guard threw her off a wall.
And her
Yeah.
name also happens to be her name, but backwards.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Did you guys ever see The Usual Suspects?
No, but I've heard of it.
All right, I'm not gonna ruin that, but
Okay.
yeah. So she looks like Aries. Is Aries spelled backwards? Is just the lovable cinnamon roll.
And then she goes missing after going into a coma.
Oh, she didn't go missing.
No,
I mean, her
like,
family moved away, and I guess
yeah, her
he wasn't
family
able to
moved
follow.
away, but yeah, he didn't know where she went.
Yeah, and anyway, he leaves because he's sick of the royal life after that escapade, and he's like, I'm gonna go join a school and go to a random planet. And then there they are, and everyone's crying because, oh god, your not girlfriend was comatose. And this is so sad, and we're all friends, and we hope the best for you. And I'm like, I don't trust you, Charles. I don't trust you one bit. I'm trying to Kaiser Soze everyone, man. And then they get to their fourth planet, which is in... It's not geosynchronous. Solar synchronous orbit to its sun.
I think so.
Its orbit causes it to one side to always be facing... It's actually like the moon to us. One side of the moon is always facing Earth, and the other side is always facing away from Earth. So we've used satellites, but we can't see the dark side of the moon from Earth. And this thing is the same way, but with its sun. So one side is always facing the sun, and one side is always not facing the sun. So it's two giant death zones of this place has been covered in sun since the planet began and is a burning place of death. And the other side has never seen sunlight ever and is a freezing place of death. And so they're going on the middle strip, right in the middle, where there's a bit of sunlight, bit of not sunlight. It's just a little bit cold, a little bit hot. It's just right. They found the Goldilocks, just right porridge strip right around the planet. And that's where presumably they're going to find life. And they found some life. It's big and frightening and horrible life. And then the planet grabs them and tosses them around, and then the ship breaks. And they're stranded in space now.
Yep.
And Kittery has a breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Understandably, but like everyone else is like trying to keep it together, trying to be like, oh, well, we can survive here, and we can like find things to do, and you know, all that stuff. And even Kanata's like, you know, I'm a little sad, but like I'm thinking like, hey, maybe over the next 10 years, maybe we could fix the ship. And like I'm like, that's not 100% optimist, like realistic, but you know, hey, you're the optimist. But then one of the scouting groups finds another ship. Oh, and it looks exactly like the Astra, but they're like, and for half a second I'm like, you're not doing like a time travel paradox thing, are you? But they're like, no, it's not the Astra, but it's the same model. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. And then there's a lady inside in a hibernation
Gee,
tube.
I wonder who it is.
Oh god, if they do a time machine thing, if that's...
No, it's
if
probably
that's
that
Kittery's
girl
little
that Charles
sister.
liked.
Really? Do you think so?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I'm not trying to spoil anything. That's just my prediction. I think
No, I
it's
have a
that
feeling you
girl.
didn't look up anything.
No, I just have a feeling that since it's been years since Char left his home, I feel like they're going to explain that that's that whatever her name is, the girl that he liked.
Sierra?
Yeah.
Even though she
Sarah.
looks just like Aries? Because that girl did not look like Aries.
Change the hair a bit, maybe? I don't know. I didn't get a really long look at her.
I mean, the thing though is she was left in a coma the last time we saw her in the flashback, so maybe her parents took her away from that planet because Char went to see her, but then one day the family left. So maybe they went on a trip to try and save her, and they got stuck out in space, and she's the only one left. That's just
I'm sorry. They left Earth to go to uninhabited planet to save their daughter from a
Well, no, maybe like they
coma.
got maybe something bad happened to them and they got stuck on the planet.
Why would they go to the planet in the first place? There's no one that could help them there.
Well, like maybe like they got in, like maybe something bad happened to them and they were trying to go off to a different planet and something bad happened to their ship and they got.
I think we're just running back to the same thing of like, why do you take a comatose person into space? This is the same thing with like the why do you take a 9-year-old into space? Except like it feels like, I don't know, even more why would you do that? I'm not saying it can't happen. We already took a 9-year-old into space. I'm just like trying to follow your logic here.
I don't know. That's just my gut feeling that girl is the Sarah, or if that's how you say her name.
Sarah.
Yeah.
I mean, she could have woken up at some point and just gone on a trip. I mean, because someone wrote "Help me" on the abandoned ship's computer, which led them
that's
to the
also
hibernation
true.
chamber. So she had to have been awake at some point.
Yeah.
Something tells me we're just gonna get more backstory for other things that we don't even know about currently, that are already happened within the universe of the world.
Probably. Who knows?
And that
Maybe this
isn't the first time that an event like this has happened.
I was just about to say that.
And
Every 12 years.
Not that it's every 12 years, but this is like the route that I guess is taken when they have some people that are expendable and they need to get rid of them.
They just throw them into space?
Throw them into space and they hope and pray that they don't get back.
It's weird. They conveniently keep blasting them out near ships.
I know.
For me, I just pop them near the sun, man.
My whole thing is what if this is just one giant, like, conspiracy and they're doing this all for some reason or another?
Oh my god, it's a galactic reality show, just like that episode of South Park.
Dear God.
No, think about it. The
No.
whole is sentient. It's the producer of the show.
God.
And it picked out, and maybe all the parents are in on it, or most of them are, it picked out all these random personalities of these young people to create, like, Survivor or The Bachelor in space. And it's being broadcast to everyone, like all non-humans in the galaxy. Because there's going to be a bunch of them.
Interesting.
Probably not, but I think this is one of the more interesting theories going right now. But yeah, I don't buy Charce's stuff. I really don't. I feel like it's too convenient and too, like, can't confirm it.
I feel that it's kind of like it could potentially be true, but if it is the truth, it's not all of it.
Yeah,
like there has to be something else there.
He's hiding something else, but I feel like his story is just believable enough that people believe it. But to me, it's very convenient in that no one else can really confirm anything that he's saying. See, some other people, we can confirm some shit. Like,
the thing is, with him being the biologist, I feel like that figures very, very heavily into whatever he isn't telling us. So
probably. But, like, with everyone else, for the most part, we've been able to confirm their backgrounds based on what other people are saying. Olgar said he was the vice principal's son. Other people confirmed that. He said Luca was the politician's son. Not only did Luca confirm that, but they also confirmed the intersex thing. Bits of their backstories. Ares has confirmed things about herself through other people. Kanata as well. Everyone had heard about stuff that had happened to him. Like, what's her name? The quiet one.
Yunhua?
Yes, Yunhua said, like, yeah, my mom was abusive and she was, like, that famous singer or whatever. And it was like, okay, I know that. I can see the resemblance. Zack and Kittery and the sister, they all know each other. They can all confirm. Like, Charles is the odd man out here. No one can confirm anything he is saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's too good to be true, though, that, like... But at the same time, the show seems like... Not, like, simple, but, like... I can't think of any other word to describe it. But I feel like they're not trying to trick us.
Straightforward?
Yeah.
I don't know. They were putting us in a specific direction, like with Olger being the enemy on the trip, like pretty early on.
Yeah, but again, that was way too obvious. There's no way anyone thought that was just... I mean, if anyone really thought Olgar was going to be the bad guy,
They obviously haven't watched enough television.
No.
I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be Charles.
I think it's either Charles or nobody. And it was all just the parents at home. And they just got unlucky.
I'm still leaning on the parents, to be
mean,
honest.
Without a doubt, they're involved. The only question at this point is Charles involved?
I don't think so.
The only real question is, aside from, like, is Charles involved, is how deep does this go?
It's got to be very deep. It's got to be a very big conspiracy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you guys have the theory with the cloning and whatnot, and I think that's viable.
Well, I'm thinking, like, if Charles is involved, him being a biologist, the cloning thing makes even a little more sense now.
Yeah. Also, I mean, they wouldn't have brought up that if it wasn't going to be relevant.
No.
I mean, they brought it up that early. It's clearly just a placement so that later, whenever they reveal it, it's not like, oh, you didn't pull this completely out of your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they could have just mentioned that he was a biologist just because he's the one testing, like, with all the knowledge about the plants and the animals and shit.
I don't mean the biology thing. I mean the cloning thing.
Oh.
You don't put that in there if you're not going to use it later.
I don't know. I don't even remember when it was mentioned.
It was right before when they mentioned who Marco Esposito was, and they cut to, like, right before they show his face, like, they mentioned something about the ban on cloning that had just been passed.
It was episode 5, like the beach episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were also mentioning, like, Zack and Kittery and their parents and the stuff with the human genome thing that the politician guy was also kind of not allowing involvement in. So, I mean, too many connections there. Too much. They mentioned it too much to it not be a thing for later.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you're right. Charles being the biologist, that puts him in proximity to shit like DNA and clone shit.
Like, who knows? Maybe Ares is a clone of his best friend. Huh.
That's a possibility.
Yeah. Like, while we were watching that episode, that was the one thing that flew through my head. I'm like, this is insane, but...
I don't think so, because, you know, like, I'm pretty sure that girl's the same age as, like, Charles and Ares, and you know, clones don't work like that.
How do you know how clones work in this universe? It could be like...
It could be going off of the old logic of, oh, clones age a lot faster.
Yeah. They could be Star Wars clones where they age twice as fast.
I'm just thinking about it from a perspective of someone who was studying genetics for a little bit.
Well, they're also way in the future, so genetics are going to be even more complicated and I mean, I'm just saying, yeah. I mean, we were contemplating that, like, half of them could be clones, and they were all trying to get rid of them.
I mean, I guess so, if it runs on different, like, you know, logic or whatever.
This is TV anime logic, so that's the logic I'm going off of right now.
Which is weird, because for the most part, scientifically, or at least space travel-wise, it's been pretty accurate. So, you may have something there. And that Ares might not be a clone in that regard. If they're going by real world science like they are with the space travel, with the planetary movements, with moving around in space, like, you may have something there. At the same time, though, like, clearly they're far more advanced in where they're at with cloning, that they might be able to do shit. Who can say at this point? I still say Charles might be a bad guy. We can't really confirm anything that he said, and it could all be a lie.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on this? Interesting episode, I think. I feel like this, again, for me at least, makes me think that Zach is still not the bad guy, even though we haven't gotten his backstory yet. I feel like if he really wanted to, he really could have crashed that spaceship and killed everyone.
Yeah.
So.
We shall see.
We'll have to see who the lady is next time. We'll have to see what's going on, whether Charles is going to betray everyone. Like, I think he probably will. He's a creep. Even not Ares said he was a creep. Yeah, we'll move on to episode 8 next time and see where this journey takes us with Kanata no Astra. And I feel like, do we ever confirm, like, is this like a 12 episode thing or more?
I think 12 episodes. I could be wrong.
Okay, so that would mean we're getting down to like the last bit of it pretty soon.
I mean, the manga was only 5 volumes long, so it shouldn't be too much longer.
Okay. 5 volumes, like, that feels like you could make 5 seasons out of it if you want.
No, like, if we're talking about volumes of manga, usually volumes of manga are anywhere between, like, 4 to 6 chapters? And usually each episode takes up about maybe, like, 2?
It all
Something like that?
Alright, then yeah, we might be getting into the end game soon. I'm down for that. It's an interesting story. If they complete it in an interesting, like, you know, tie up all the loose ends kind of way, I'd probably be pretty happy with this series.
Yeah, so far I'm watching 10 new anime this season. It's my favorite one so far that I've been watching. So I'm interested.
Where do you find the time?
Yeah, really.
Don't ask.
Dude. I, like, barely have time to watch these. I'm at work so much.
Yeah. Hopefully we can figure out something like, yeah. I mean, I mentioned a while ago about doing a bunch of them and, like, having, like, a tournament out of it, but...
I mean, a tournament would be fine. It's just things need to calm down at work first.
Yeah, they do. They do, for all of us, I think. Anyway, why don't we... This is a yay. We're going to watch it next week. Why don't we move on to Steins Gate and those 2 episodes. Now, Envy, I think you have a little more understanding of episode 7 than we do, so why don't you go into it?
Well, based on how episode 6 ended, they further wanted to test the D-mail experiment. So, Okabe decides to do what pretty much anybody would do, if, let's be honest, if they had a time machine, to go back a lot, to do the lottery and send the lottery back to see if the past self will use the numbers. But he doesn't want to make it too obvious. Instead of like a $1 million prize, let's make it 100,000. So no one's suspicious.
Play it a little safer and don't draw too much suspicion.
Yeah, and I like how Kurisu acts like that's so dishonorable. It's like, come on, if you had a time machine, you can change the past. That wouldn't be one of the first things you would do.
Well, I mean, she kind of brought that up, is that she said she wouldn't change anything.
Well, but like if you had a time machine of your...
If I had a time machine? I thought you were asking Kurisu if she had a time machine. I might go for some lottery tickets.
I heard a cat.
Oh, yeah.
But
She
yeah,
said lottery.
But Okabe goes back and then by going back and doing the lottery, he changes the world line to where nobody but him remembers the old world line, certain memories of it, and that's what he calls reading Steiner ability.
Yeah, which he doesn't adequately explain why he decides to call anything to anyone, but at the very least, we understand that he can remember the differences in world lines whenever it's been jumped when no one else can. So, I mean, that's a convenient power, especially when you're trying to rewrite the future.
So basically, he has to explain to everybody in, I guess, the reworked world line that he's not crazy. That no,
Yeah.
this actually happened. These memories did happen. It's just I'm the only one that remembers it now.
Yeah, which I mean, it's fortunate that he has the text and whatnot to make sure that he's like, yep, so this did happen. Which is, I mean, they're also trying to figure out, what kind of things will change the world line whenever we send stuff back. Because, like, little bits of information here and there. Like, I think they were trying also with Daru to tell him what Ferris... He was going to play Ferris in a card game. They told him, here's the card she has and how to win. But it didn't go like that. He still lost. So I think to some degree... I think that was just a bad choice because there was a lack of control to that experiment.
And also, he loves Ferris, and he probably wanted her to win regardless. So
That's a possibility. But on top of that, in a card game, even if, like, especially if it's like a trading card game like I'm thinking it is, like, even if you get the same cards, you can do different things with them depending on the situation to change the outcome in 100 different ways. So that was never going to be a good way of doing that. The lottery
and
numbers
even
thing,
and
definitely.
even with the lottery, though, Okabe tells Ruka to play the lottery, and he
Right.
messes up, and
Yep, he screwed up one of the numbers, but that was still a confirmable thing because the numbers wouldn't have changed. The order the cards played with Ferris could have changed, and that would have negated the experiment, but the lottery numbers would have been consistent.
Yeah.
Unless they went to the lottery and smashed some balls. Anyway, like you said before, we also met Baldy's daughter and find out that Suzuha is a Teeter fangirl. We're not sure why. Well, we know why, but maybe people watching don't know why yet, so we won't reveal why. But yeah. Also, Shining Finger is gone.
Yep.
yep.
We don't know where they went. And it's because they sent a D-mail to themselves saying, hey, don't get the phone that you got 4 days ago. And they're like, oh, that's a confirmable thing. And then they just never showed up ever again.
Yep.
Oh my
And only
God,
Okabe
nothing
remembers her
happened.
coming to the lab.
Nope. He wiped someone out of existence, possibly. Probably not. Maybe. We don't know yet. We
I
know
don't
yet.
think so, because she was still texting.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, she just never came to the lab.
Yeah.
But then we get to where we're starting to affect the timeline a little bit more and more for these experiments, because Ruka came and he really wanted to send a D-mail to his mom back in the 90s whenever she was pregnant with him to eat more vegetables so that he could be a girl. And I'm like, dude, you could just do it today. Do whatever you feel like doing. It's like, you don't gotta conform to whatever society say. But whatever. Probably easier than getting a surgery to just change the world line. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it might be a little easier. So anyway, they do that. They figure out they had a pager and a number, and they're like, hey, go eat some vegetables, and the world line changed, but that's where it cuts off because we don't know whether it worked or not.
Yep.
What do you guys think of these episodes?
I They're slowly building
Yeah.
toward a big mid-season finale, which we won't spoil. But
Well, you just spoiled. There's a big mid-season finale.
well, oh, well, we
How
mentioned
dare
it
you?
before. We mentioned it before, so.
Probably we did.
But it's
But yeah,
slowly
it's-
building toward.
Yeah.
All the pieces are slowly coming together, and it builds towards the episode 12, and then it sets the stage for the rest of the show. And I think
Yeah.
it does a good job of that.
I like the natural progression of it all. How it's kind of like we started small, and it's like the experiments are slowly ramping up and escalating, and they're getting bigger. It's like, okay, what can we change? Can we change more things? How drastic of changes can we get? And we've gotten to a point where it'd be pretty drastic, but I feel like there's going to be even more drastic stuff coming forward that we're going to be seeing coming down the pipe pretty soon. That they're willing to do with this thing. By the way, they ripped the door off the microwave. They're gonna get cancer now. It's still a microwave. There's still radiation. The door is there. And by the way, if you're gonna heat up stuff in the microwave, just people in the audience, don't stand in front of the microwave. You're getting radiation from that. It's not good for you. So, yeah, Future Gadget Lab. Everyone has cancer now. I feel like I'm doing all the talking. Does anyone else have some thoughts?
Not right now. I'm sorry. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're recording this a little bit late.
I still think the cast is as charming as ever.
Who is?
The cast is charming as ever.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to write down little bits and bobs with their lines and whatnot. I think we brought up that or at least Daru did that. Kurisu and Okabe are already the OTP of Daru's life, and Kurisu's like, "We are not OTP," and he's like, "Oh ho ho, so you know the lingo."
And I nothing comes to mind right now, but Mayuri has a lot of funny lines too.
Yes, Mayuri and Ruka doing their stuff, getting the boys all flustered.
Oh,
I like how we're slowly but surely revealing that Kurisu is a closet weeb. Or at least a nerd.
yeah. I know in the visual novel, in one of the routes, you find out she's basically that version of a Redditor. Like, she goes on blogs all the time and goes on random blogs and just nerds out on there.
Well, hey, we all need our hobbies. You all gotta unwind somehow. When was Tumblr created? I'm assuming it was after this.
2007?
Oh, never mind. It was right in the middle of it.
At least I think that's when it was created.
I wouldn't know.
Let me look that up real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, we can at some point assume that Kurisu has a Tumblr just for their fan fiction obsessions.
Jeez.
You know they got them.
She goes to bed at night. She goes to bed at night in her onesie and just goes on ships.
Yeah, Tumblr was launched in February of 2007.
Yep. She's fangirling all over the place. She also didn't know that Ruka was a trap.
Oh no, that was a funny scene. That had me cracking. Yeah. Just like, how could someone so cute be a boy? And then, nope.
Yep. So Okabe's still Okabeing, and Mayuri's still doing. Everybody's still doing their thing, slowly ramping up more and more, seeing where it's all gonna lead. I mean, like, I feel like some part of me feels like we don't always have a lot to say about Steins Gate because it's just build up to the larger plot points. And it's like, the more we talk about it, it's like we can't talk a ton about it. Because, I mean, we've seen the future.
Like, for right now, it's just like, since we already know what's going to happen, it's like, a lot of this right now kind of pales in comparison to what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, it's basically a slice of life show with some science fiction for now.
Yeah, that's how I always describe it to people. And then I say, and then you'll get to the middle of the season and the tone changes.
Oh, so it's like Madoka.
Yep.
No,
Oh,
Madoka
dear.
changed as soon as episode 3 ended. Let's be real.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's almost halfway through their series.
It's a quarter of the way. But, yeah, like, I remember watching this in Anime Club and not expecting the shift.
Yeah.
Because the tone had been so light and kind of just fun and goofy that I was like, oh, what is this? Oh.
Oh, no.
Yep. It's a good time. It's a good time. I'm looking forward to that part. I'm hoping everyone watching or listening to us, or if there's anyone listening to us, is looking forward to that part. If you already know what happens, don't spoil it. But it's a good time.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. All that I have to say. Has anyone else got any thoughts on this?
No.
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 Well, I guess that's it for this week. We'll be continuing. We're continuing all these because we're enjoying them, I think, and we'll continue with Copcraft, episode 7 next week. Kanata, episode 8, and Steins Gate 9 and 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. Didn't think about that, did we? I did. I've been waiting.
It was
for this
perfectly
week.
planned the entire time by the organization.
Just as planned.
Oh boy.
Maybe we should watch that. Scratch that. We should just watch the first season. Anyway. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.